Like something out of a movie, police in the suburbs used facial recognition to identify a woman about to jump to her death. We have questions about just how they're using that technology. Colorado's best-known Republican skips work to show her allegiance to Donald Trump, taking a shift in the courtroom of his criminal trial. And Denver's pretty comfortable with cannabis these days, yet marijuana delivery hasn't taken off. Maybe they just need drivers with experience.
I'm delivering weed just like I used to do it as a teenager.
That's tonight on Next.
30 minutes till the Nuggets game. First, the news. Police talked a woman off a ledge recently, the kind of thing that probably would not make headlines, except Arvada police say they used facial recognition to identify that woman and make a connection with her. Got our Marshall Zellinger wondering just when law enforcement is using facial recognition in unexpected ways.
Here, this is for you. Just take it. Just take it.
This is body camera footage posted online by Arvada police as they pull a woman off the edge of a parking structure bridge. This parking structure bridge with a steep drop to the driveway below.
What you don't see in our video is the negotiations that went on behind the scenes, you know, the trying to get this person off the bridge, the presence of a co-responder.
And we did not see the technology used by police to help figure out who the woman was. Facial recognition technology we asked Arvada Police Detective David Snelling about.
To me, it's maybe a simple way of explaining it, but it's like a facial fingerprint.
To even use facial recognition, it required a face to recognize. So an Arvada police officer snapped a photo to be able to search.
And through the system that we do facial recognition with, they were able to upload and were able to discover who she was with a very high percentage.
Their system is through a company called ROC, Rank 1 Computing, though Snelling told me the actual search does not look like this CSI example. The pictures Arvada police have to search against are limited.
The known photographs that we use are actually booking photographs from around the state.
DMV photos?
No DMV photos.
Any of those cameras that nobody knows what they are?
No, not scraping any of those cameras. We're not looking at social media.
When a photo gets uploaded, like mine, the software searches booking photos and can come up with several options with a percentage level of certainty.
We have to have some human intervention, some meaningful human review. And it's just like pulling a fingerprint from a scene. If we don't get enough points on that fingerprint or we don't get enough facial structures, then the algorithm for facial recognition isn't going to work.
The woman on the bridge had a booking photo, which gave officers and the co-responder on scene a name to say to try to keep her from going over.
Once they started to call her by her name, it actually kind of calmed the situation somewhat.
She was taken to the hospital. I could not show you a real example of searching because it's almost like police searching a license plate. You need a specific purpose because it creates a record. A state law passed 2 years ago set up guidelines for requirements before this technology is used, including having, quote, some meaningful human review.
Meaningful human review. They're looking at mugshots, okay? Could they go through DMV photos?
I don't think as part of this process, like the search, the automatic AI search could not do that. Through investigative work, they could probably do what they normally would do and start. That's the
but not through this automated system.
Not through the automated system.
How about scraping social media?
But as a detective, you could start doing that on your own,
Yep.
not through the automated system.
Listen, I'm glad they helped that woman, but that is creepy as something. All right, Marshall, thank you. Westbound I-70 still closed after a crash and fire closed 6 miles of the interstate for most of the day. Eastbound 70 is back open. State Patrol shut down the interstate from Genesee to 470 just after 9:30 this morning after a car crashed into a tanker truck. The truck had pulled onto the shoulder after overheating. That crash triggered a massive fire just west of Red Rocks. CSP says the driver of the car died. Driver of the tanker has been taken to the hospital. The EPA and a hazmat team are cleaning up the fuel spill. No estimate on when they're going to reopen the westbound lanes. Republican leaders are taking turns making a pilgrimage to Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York City to show their devotion to him. And today, Colorado's most prominent Republican, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, took her turn. She was one of several far-right Republican members of Congress who came to court today. Each day is its own cast of characters, often with the men dressed in matching outfits with Trump. Boebert then sent out a fundraising email this afternoon reading, "Did you see where I just was? I could not stand by and not show my support for the all-caps greatest president of all time." Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors say it was to cover up a payout to a porn star that Trump cheated on his wife with in an attempt to keep voters from finding out during the 2016 election. Trump is under a gag order that keeps him from criticizing the prosecutors, the judge, or the witnesses, so these Republican allies like Boebert come to court each day so they can do it for him.
The radical left wants President Trump to simply go away. And if President Trump just went away, this would all go away as well. And they are doing everything that they can to interfere in yet another election.
Boebert called the trial a political witch hunt. She then returned to D.C. after court to vote on a Republican effort to hold the Democratic Attorney General in contempt of Congress. CU regents have a message for pro-Palestinian protesters occupying the Araria Quad and making demands. Nope. CU says it's not going to negotiate. Board of Regents put out a short statement today. A lot of it's the same stuff we've heard from other universities dealing with protests, that, they're monitoring what's going on, they support the protesters' First Amendment rights. But the CU statement also says, quote, no regent is offering any policy changes in response to the demands. The protesters are demanding CU Denver cut off all financial ties with Israel and the U.S. military, disclose financial investments, and end study abroad programs to Israel. This is the first time that a university in Colorado has essentially told protesters to get lost with their demands. MSU Denver has disclosed some financial information to protesters last week. MSU Denver has not said if they plan to cut any ties or drop any investments. 24 minutes to the Nuggets game. In this age when you can get just about anything delivered to your house and fast, Denver's marijuana delivery business hasn't taken off like some might expect. Our Evan Krugel met a driver who's thrilled by the lack of competition.
All roads lead to convenience.
Everyone is used to getting everything delivered.
And in a city full of drivers, odds are some are making deliveries.
We get our clothes delivered, we get our food delivered. Many people get their medicine. Why not add the medicine of marijuana?
It's a question Michael Diaz Rivera is happy to answer.
Right now we have 2 orders ready to go. And now we are ready to go.
Picking up pot and bringing it to this guy's home.
Thank you, thank you. Have you had delivery before?
Not from you all.
Okay, thank you for trying us out. What inspired you?
I didn't want to leave the house.
That makes sense, that convenience.
Michael's laugh and drive for success have made him one of the most successful delivery drivers in town, with nearly 1,000 deliveries already this year. It's a job Michael's good at.
I thought there was a picture of me.
Because he's been doing it for years.
It wasn't a representation of who I am now.
17 years ago, the job and Michael looked a bit different.
I was riding around, it was a Friday night, I was with some friends. We get pulled over by the police, they pull us out of the vehicle, they search us, and inside my vehicle they find some weed. And so that gave them enough to charge me with the intent to distribute. I went to jail and I eventually pled down and got felony for possession.
More than a decade later, that conviction allowed Michael to apply for a delivery license in Denver, thanks to a unique city rule.
So what we did is we created a social equity program, licensing exclusivity for people who qualify for this program based on several factors.
Eric Escudero says one of those qualifications is a past marijuana-related conviction.
These people are knowledgeable about the industry, they're passionate, and then you meet someone like Michael and you go, wow, this guy may be the next marijuana or the first marijuana delivery baron.
I'm delivering weed just like I used to do it as a teenager.
Michael's career has gone full circle.
Exactly.
There are some big differences.
I've got a camera right here, so as soon as you open the trunk, it's able to look at whoever's here touching the lockbox.
Michael's car also has a tracking system on it, and nobody else can be inside, including Michael's 3 kids, when a delivery is in progress.
Everything's safe and secure, whether it's cannabis or it's the baby.
It's a lot. The city says there's a reason why.
Someone driving around in a vehicle with a large amount of marijuana and a large amount of cash, that could be a target and probably will be a target for criminals.
Delivery numbers are up this year, a sign Michael's hard work could soon be rewarded.
Have I made enough to support my family? Not quite yet, but better days are on the way. I'm paying my monthly bills, and that's all I can ask for now, and soon I'll be sending my kids to college.
It's motivation as Michael looks to become the king of cannabis delivery.
As we raise the awareness, I think that we will be taking off in the near future.
Now, there are currently only 11 companies doing deliveries in Denver. One big problem they're facing, the city has over 200 dispensaries. That means consumers have to decide between paying extra for delivery or, in many cases, walking down the block. So far, Kyle, the clear preference is still to buy in person.
Yeah, I was about to say, there are a few Denverites who don't live within a 5-minute walk of a dispensary. A lot of pizza drivers, you know, will have like a lighted sign on the top of their vehicle that says what they're doing. I get why he would not want to do that.
And legally can't. They're not allowed to advertise the same way that a lot of other businesses are. That's true across the marijuana industry. A lot of loopholes that he has to jump through in terms of all of those regulations. You saw the locks in the back, the security cameras, a lot of upfront costs he's hoping will eventually pay off.
One of the most interesting stories I've seen in a while. Evan Krugel, thank you. Photojournalist Ann Herbst, thank you as well. A city in Colorado is backtracking on its park camping ban.
I would say that there is a lot of learning going on, but not in the way that you'd think.
Yeah, because it's not a car show. It's more of like a car show and tell. Students in Castle Rock are getting a hands-on lesson in auto repair. Next. Grand Junction City Council voted last night to ban tent camping in public parks during the day. It is a complete 180 from their decision just 3 months ago. It was a 5-1 vote to pass the new restrictions at the urging of local law enforcement. They said that allowing people living on the streets to camp in Grand Junction's parks was becoming a public health and safety issue. City Council rejected the same daytime camping restrictions back in February, saying that the city should open up more homelessness resources before they limited camping. New restrictions go into effect next week, giving unhoused folks a pretty small window to find alternative options. Grand Junction already has an overnight camping ban that prohibits camping when shelter space is available. 16 minutes to the Nuggets game. Kathy's here with a look at the forecast.
I know it's going to be amazing, and the weather is tremendous. How about sunshine in mid-70s today? If you think this is great, wait until you see the weekend. If you can get into the high country with all the issues on I-70 today, the weather in the mountains beautiful as well. Our weather headlines include a warming trend. We're tracking isolated storms to the south, a drier weekend with temperatures in the 80s, and storms do return in the extended forecast. But 74 today with a dry day in Denver, almost 80 in southeastern Colorado. Light winds out of the east and southeast, but with that southerly wind flow, we are going to see temperatures soar into the 80s tomorrow as we remain in between two storm systems. And as high pressure begins to move over the area, cut off the flow of moisture. So the isolated showers that we're tracking tonight from Colorado Springs down to Trinidad will be moving out. Severe weather threat is east of our area tonight and tomorrow as well. So always nice when we can give you a forecast without a lot of damaging wind and hail. We have clear skies tonight, a sunny day tomorrow. Temperatures will slowly turn into the mid-50s tonight, and then we get into the 80s for Friday, Saturday, and for Sunday. Enjoy.
Our next question comes from a viewer named Dan. He says he keeps spotting this mystery license plate in Colorado, can't figure out what it is, and knows that we've all geeked out about license plates around here for years. I leaned in and squinted. Did you lean in and squint? There you go. Now it's blown up for both of us. That, Dan, is not a real license plate. That is an American state national plate. It's one of several bogus license plates you can buy online that are associated with the anti-government sovereign citizen movement. Sovereign citizens are the ones that claim that the government at all levels is illegitimate, so they say that federal, state, and local laws don't apply. They're often challenging or ignoring various regulations and court orders, not paying taxes. The Anti-Defamation League Center on Extremism, which has tracked the sovereign citizen movement for decades, describes them as an extremist group that can and has turned violent.
They believe they can ignore any law or regulation, and thus any confrontation with any form of authority, like police pulling someone over for a traffic stop, child protective services showing up, zoning inspectors, any sort of encounter with authority can somehow become possibly a violent confrontation.
Should note, if somebody does get pulled over for a fake plate, that could result in criminal charges beyond just driving without registration.
I think just the hands-on aspect is really cool. It makes learning more fun.
Who says that kids don't care about the classics anymore? If it's cars, they're all about it. 10 minutes of the Nuggets game. Students at Mesa Middle School in Douglas County got their own classic car show on campus today. It's a community-wide effort to get kids interested not just in the cars, but what makes them run.
Ready? It's really weird because this is not what you normally think of school.
Dang, that's crazy.
We brought out about a dozen engines.
So we're taking apart engines?
And we're putting them back together too, so it's kind of important to remember how they went in. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster.
So this is your intake site?
Okay.
You have middle schoolers exploring career options and getting lots of hands-on activity.
Okay, that one should be the right size, because that's the one that we used for the other one. Perfect. Good job, Sammy. Before, I didn't really care about them at all. I was like, oh, cool, they're engines. I had other things to focus on. But now that I'm actually seeing what goes through, now I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool, and I want to learn a lot more about it. How does this work? How do you do this? What happens when you stick your key into the ignition? What does all that do?
I think just the hands-on aspect is really cool. Seeing what has an effect on what and what makes everything work.
There's so many different career paths. College is one of 100 different career paths.
Do they need to be shorter?
Find a career path that ignites your passion, that really clicks and works for you.
Look how dirty your hands are.
We can put the oil can on that bomb.
I would say that there is a lot of learning going on, but not in the way that you think.
Get your head gasket.
Kids aren't just sitting in a classroom at a desk writing things down.
Okay.
It makes learning more fun.
The joy of dirty hands. We'll have your feedback 9 minutes till the Nuggets game. Next. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a 6-hour stakeout of a black bear who was in no hurry.
How do you get a bear out of a tree? I don't know. And neither does Colorado Parks and Wildlife sometimes. This bear climbed a tree in Golden on Tuesday, then fell asleep, as bears do. CPW waited hours for the bear to come down so they could scare it out of the neighborhood, but you know what? They just scared it up.
No bear! No bear! No, no, no!
Another tree. No waiting around this time. They linked up with local police to fly a drone near the bear and to blast some noises at it. They tried,
"Hey bear, go away."
Asking it.
"Hey bear, hey bear, hey bear."
And finally, they rocked it with some Black Sabbath.
Now if he starts banging his head, we got a problem.
See, now maybe if Ozzy had bitten the head off a bear, it would have been more intimidating. But this guy wasn't fazed. Stayed up there with the music blasting and everything. CPW workers finally gave up and just waited for the bear to come down on its own overnight.
I've been told that the Nuggets tip-off has been moved to 6:41, which really makes me look like a horse's backside for the countdown during the show. But we're now 15 minutes away from that. Holly says, if police develop suit recognition capabilities, you'll have to be careful when you are out and about. Or it'll be like camouflage. They'll think I'm a couch.